Hello, thank you for being here this morning, and once again, congratulations to Brandon on the 20th ATM. It's really fantastic. I have with me the president of APAC for Believe, Sylvain. First, why don't you introduce yourself, and then I'll say some words about you.
Sure. I think some people start to know me already. I've been on this stage for quite a while, and thank you, Jasper, and the branded team for having us every year, supporting the local music industry. We owe you that one, so hopefully looking forward to be there in the next 20.
Right.
So just maybe introducing myself. My name is Sylvain. I've been running the Asia-Pacific business for Believe for the last almost 13 years now. And with main mission to build up from the ground up the business in the region, based in Singapore, and operating across Asia-Pacific from India all the way to Japan, Greater China, Southeast Asia, etc.
Right. And I've known Sylvain for all of those 13 years.
And even before.
And even before. We were both based in Japan and started out as head of sales for Believe, and now is the president of APAC. Done fantastic work. I am really impressed with what you've done. We had arguments, you probably don't remember, back in the day. I had a label in Japan where we were selling physical CDs, and you were talking about these streaming services, which I wasn't too enthusiastic about, but looks like one of us was right and one of us was wrong. Okay, let's move on to that topic today, access to success. What does that mean? Can you walk us through that?
Sure. So basically, the approach that as a company we had for the last 20 years, because the company was built up in the last 20 years. Originally, there was an issue of access. So for a lot of independent artists, independent labels, the main issue was how do you get on digital platforms? So it was the core of the business. Plus, there was, especially in the region, to me, this is what probably is most important. In the region, when we came in 13 years ago, a lot of the content was not even available on platforms. And I'm talking 13 years ago, we were not even talking about streaming back in the days. We were mostly talking about iTunes and ringtones. That was the context. Yeah. So we worked a lot with independent labels and independent artists to first give that access. We worked very closely hand in hand with the DSPs as they launched, with Spotify, with Apple, with YouTube, with everyone, to give a much better visibility exposure also to local genres, which were underrepresented back in the days, to ensure that there would be a proper representation of domestic music in the various genres. I think it was very interesting to listen to what Sridhar was saying earlier about the diversity of the landscape that you have in Asia Pacific. He talked a lot about dangdut, he talked about hipdut. It's the same thing about regional Thai music. Hip-hop has been a very big growing scene. He talked about P-pop. All of those genres have emerged because streaming has given them the opportunity to emerge. It has lowered the access barrier for a lot of independent artists and a lot of independent labels, which means that those genres exist today in big reason thanks to streaming. So part of our job was to make sure that this content was clearly visible. The next step, we're talking about success. The next step is really to help emerge, I would say, from the mass, because something that we've been seeing a lot lately is that it has created a profusion of content coming online, which is great. There's a lot of diversity coming up. But the challenge remains the same for artists, is how do you grow, how do you emerge, how do you go into your top 100 and then to the top 50 and then to the top 20. So that's what we've been focusing on over the last 3 to 5 years by launching a number of imprints focused on specific genres to develop artists in the top.
Right. And one thing that's really impressed me about Believe is your success in Asia. I mean, it's really remarkable. I'm not sure if the audience knows, maybe some of them know, maybe some of them don't know, but I mean, you compete with any other, company, corporation, distributor, label, having hits in the top 10.
Or I should say, they compete with us.
Yeah, exactly at this point. Well, I mean, I know you're making a joke, but you guys are a little indie and you're competing with these major labels, some of whom are on stage here, so we won't say any more about that. But, you know, you really, as a little French company, have evolved into the major player, or one of the major players, let's say, in all of Asia, in each territory, which is quite impressive. Can you talk about how your artist development strategy applies to APAC specifically?
Sure. So I think maybe the objective here is not to be like competition against, or I think in the music industry, especially in the region, we have the benefit of working together and not working against each other. And I think one of the main objectives we have is to continue to grow this industry. I think what's very exciting about the Asia music business, and again, Sridhar was mentioning it earlier, and I double that, the future of the music industry is in Asia. It's already representing nearly 40% of the overall value of the music industry in the world. In the next 10 years, the growth in the music industry, the influential artists, are going to come from Asia. It's already been starting, and it's going to continue in the future. So we have very, very strong belief and focus on Asia. What do we do? The main important thing, of course, is to continue to create the conditions to develop artists, to help new talent emerge. So it's about artist development, but also it's about working very, very closely with DSPs, with social media platform, and something that we've been really committed to at Believe is to build up very strong connections with those platforms, building innovative tools in order to not only be a victim of algorithms, but rather control the algorithm. I think there was an interesting quote from the earlier panel that you don't control the algorithm. Well, actually, maybe you can. And you need to actually understand how those platforms work so that you can help your artists surface and emerge in that digital space. So we're investing then, and then of course, it means about investing in people. I think the most important thing is music business is a people's business. It's people that care about music, care about talent, care about art, and that spend a lot of time with artists understanding what is their ambition, what do they want to do as creators, as musicians. I think we're going to have a great example. The panel following us, we're going to deep dive into case studies about how our own team in Indonesia is actually supporting artists directly to meet their own personal creative goals. So investing in people is key. I think one of the reasons we've been so successful in Asia over the last 10 years, it's because we have invested in people. I make that joke very often, but out of the several hundred of people that there is in Asia Pacific, there's only 2 French guys. It's me and Antoine, who is the head of Southeast Asia for the team. But everybody else they're local music industry people that have been connected with the local music industry forever, and that we strongly believe in this.
Right, you develop each territory individually. You and I discussed this. People, not in this room, but maybe generally in the world, view Asia as sort of a unified thing, and we know each market in Asia is extremely separate, extremely individual, and often has nothing to do with the market that's right next to it. You talked about innovative tools and controlling the algorithm. I don't know if you want to give away any special sauce there, but if you can give me sort of more specific actions that you guys do, or just in general success stories.
Sure. So, I mean, without naming anyone, the idea is to be able to understand better how discovery works on platforms. At the end of the day, what we need today, especially in today's ecosystem, is to foster new artist discovery. That's what we need. Because the last thing that we want is to have algorithm that keeps repeating back catalog over and over again. Of course, back catalog is great. I know a lot of companies are very happy with back catalogs going over because it's like easy money. But the objective really is to develop the next generation of artists. So continuing to foster discovery on platforms. So that's what we've been working with DSPs to make sure that we have ways to surface content on platforms. Spotify has been one of the key leaders on that front by driving the Discovery Mode program, which we have been leveraging at scale at Believe, and that's proven to be super effective in helping artists surface, in artist discovery, and developing further. We've been working also with other social media platform, creator platform, to really try to leverage the power of influencers and again, doing it at scale to give that access to those tools in a much wider range. So difficult to deep dive right in those cases on stage, but very happy to detail for those who are curious.
Right. I'm just wondering, as you say, we're going to have on stage next a person from Spotify and the head of Indonesia for Believe. But let's leave Indonesia out for a second and other territories, Asian territories, other than Indonesia. How would you explain your success in those territories? And if you can give us any specifics, it would be fantastic.
Sure. So I maybe would like to mention about one great success story we've had. It's in Thailand. The artist name is called Saran. We signed him in an artist services development contract, so when he was 16 years old.
Wow.
He was a rapper, and it was very funny at the time because he was having some kind of viral moment on YouTube, and his mission was, and he came to us with that statement, say, hey, I want to reach 100 million views on YouTube, and I don't know how to do that. I'm not sure I can get one video with 100 million views, so I'm going to have 100 video with 1 million views.
Okay.
And say, okay, that's a great ambition, so let's take you there. So we worked with him, we started developing with the strategy, with the content release planning, of course engaging with platforms. Last year, Saran, at I think 22, was the #1 top streaming artist on Spotify.
Wow.
And he was awarded with the Top Artist 2024. He came on stage at the Spotify Wrapped Award. He's one of the most streamed artists in the country. And it was a long development plan over 4 years, working really hand in hand with the artist, understanding his objective, his art, his creation, where he wants to go as an artist, but also providing him with advices, consulting, the marketing, execution capability, building up the campaign. So you're really doing the full-scale artist development that you needed to do. And we have examples like this every day. I think we're talking about the success of Believe in the region. What does that mean, access to success? If you look at the AFPI charts today itself in Indonesia, 12 tracks out of the top 20 are Believe tracks.
It's amazing.
It can be either tracks that have been artist services tracks, some of our distributed labels, even we have some TuneCore artists that are there in the top. It's in Thailand today, I think we have 7 tracks out of 20. In the Philippines, it's the same thing. So we've been really developing these artists in the top, and we will continue to invest in domestic artists to get the top. And I think what's very interesting is that the top have become very, very domestic, and that's very good news for the local music industry.
Yeah, I mean, I think that we can see that across Asia. Most of these music industries are extremely domestic. Just a quick follow-up, you signed this kid at 16. Is that extremely unusual for you, or do you do a lot of deals like that?
Oh, so of course it depends on the artist.
Yeah, but I mean...
He was particularly precocious.
Sure. But is that extremely unusual? He's the only kid you've signed that young, or there's other cases?
No, we've signed other younger, not as young as 16, but we've signed a lot of other very young artists. And again, youth is usually a very, very powerful ally for creativity.
Sure. Great. So we're running out of time. Do you have any final remarks you'd like to make?
No, again, I think we all have an interest, and a vested interest, especially everybody in this room, to continue to invest in domestic music. We think this is where the growth is going to come from in the future. We want to give even more visibility, even more tools to local artists to be able to surface. Surfacing is going to be key. We don't need more content, we need just quality content, and we will need to accompany artists going forward so that they can further grow and develop the local music industry.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Sylvain.
Thanks
Please
a
a
lot.
big hand for Sylvain.